560-5589, 560-KKTX. Assistant City Manager Susan Thorpe is in the box. Welcome to the program. It's nice to see you, and it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Be nice. This is my boss lady.
I understand.
Okay.
I wasn't going to...
I've heard stories.
You have? Really?
You have a repetition.
Would you care to repeat one?
I'll wait till after the end of this
No,
program.
it's all right. You can do that now. I don't mind. I can tell you if it's my wife just reminded me that Thursday is Pack the Stadium at Whataburger Field. We're going to be on national TV.
Because why? Thursday.
My wife doesn't listen to this program often. Didn't we just talk about that? Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. Anyway, the Assistant City Manager, Susan Thorpe, is in the box. And this is because of some of the things I said last week about our homeless problem, which I don't think is a problem. I think we have a protected class of people, and it's getting tiresome because I've been here in this city for, let's just say, from 96 on. I was here before that. But we've had these meetings about what the homeless do and how they should be taken care of, and how 900 people can make 300,000 people do crazy stuff. And my rationale for that is I have worn a hairnet and served food at Loaves and Fishes. Mm-hmm. I have listened to that talk. I have met in the jail with some of those folks. And for rational people to come up with an idea on what they should do when they're not too in tune with reality just makes no sense to me.
Okay.
You can feel that. Or
right. Well, when I came to Corpus Christi about a year ago, I noticed that the homeless situation is very much front and center at City Hall, and it takes
that's because they hang out there,
right? And it takes away from the image of the city as a place to do business and as a positive place to come and live or to visit. So I asked the police chief to join me in putting together some kind of a vision and strategies to deal with the homeless situation, but also to balance the needs of homeless individuals and families with the rest of the community, and the ability of businesses to do their business, and the ability for visitors to come and have a safe and attractive place to have some fun in Corpus Christi.
The Leopard Street Business Alliance has been complaining for years. I mean years.
Yep.
I know there's Cliff and Gilbert.
Yep.
And
they're still complaining.
Yeah, but we passed a trespassing ordinance, and now you can put up a sign, and now you can arrest them, but you don't want them arrested anymore.
Yeah, we arrest them, but it's not solving the problem, and the problem's growing.
Then mistreat them.
Here's the issue. We're going to get to the point that we can help some people. I think I talked about Operation Red Court last week, and I did some numbers. We've got 14 ladies in that started out in that program, and it's to try to treat prostitution differently, if you remember that. So since November of last year, we still have 9 people out of the original 14 in that program, getting help through Del Mar College, getting help through social services. We realize and recognize you're not going to solve the homeless issue. We're going to try to get down to that core homeless folk, that those people who don't want any help. And you know, for the people who are oversensitive, cover your ears, because you should run those people out of town, right? So they should go somewhere else. For those people that we can reach and touch, we should, because we're spending hours and a lot of dollars in this vicious cycle of police going to get the drunk guy laying on the bench who doesn't have a home, put him in the CDC, comes right back out, and we do it again and again and again. If we can break that cycle and touch somebody, then we ought to. And it's heavy lifting, and it's hard, and there's people who will say you can't do it, but there are communities who are.
Well, I know the recidivism rate for most of the problems that the homeless are afflicted with. Some of those include poor choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is very high.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to change one's behavior when you don't have a clear outline.
Especially a grown man or woman.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of what needs to be done next.
Yeah. This is no question. This is hard, but we shouldn't shy away from it.
All right. If you have a question or comment, the number is 560-5589, 560-KKTX. News Radio 1360 KKTX. Police Chief Floyd Simpson, Assistant City Manager Susan Thorpe in the box. Kurt, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I had a quick question for Susan, and I also wanted to say that I wanted to thank her. She has really stepped up and helped up the marina and Peter Davison. She's been at the marina board meetings. She's helping us get our grants to fix the place. She's been a really asset for the marina downtown. She's really stepping up for us.
Thank you.
And I wanted to thank her for that. But I got a question, and it's to deal with the homeless, and it's in the old MG area up there on Staples that they want to put over a 200-bed facility for more homeless people. Do you know anything about that?
We've heard, I guess about a year ago, the Development Services Department had a conversation with Good Samaritan, and they just talked about a concept, but about expanding, but didn't bring any plans forward. Then more recently, the Rochelle Foundation has purchased that M&G location and had it demolished, had some of the structures demolished, and we heard that the intention was to expand Good Samaritan. That it cannot be expanded there because it has to be rezoned.
Right.
It's not zoned appropriately for a homeless shelter, and so the staff would be opposed to the rezoning. The council would make that ultimate decision, but we don't think that that's the right place for expanding homeless shelters. And one of the strategies that we've got with our a vision for homeless solutions is to enact zoning requirements as well as ordinances that would regulate the location of shelters and those kinds of services to make sure that they're not duplicating efforts and they're not concentrating in certain areas that we don't want them to be.
Well, that sounds outstanding. That's exactly what I was hoping I would hear, and I appreciate that. And once again, thank you for really supporting the marina downtown. I know you've done a fantastic job from showing up to meetings and everything. So have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you.
560-5589, 560-KKTX. Who bought that?
The Rochelle Foundation.
And they're involved in the beach kerfuffle?
That's the same entity. They're a large, I guess you might say privately held, I guess they're all privately held, foundation, Ed Rochelle Foundation. And they do a lot of good work across South Texas.
Okay.
No, they really do. If you look, just
right.
look them up. You may not like one of the 15 things they contribute to, but they do. And most of it nobody writes about because it doesn't involve homeless or doesn't involve beach issues.
Andre, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm on here.
Yes, sir. You're on.
Jack, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Morning, Jim.
Hey.
The thing I think that is different about this situation, I agree with you on that there is a reality and a rational thinking, but I think that we have in City Manager Thorpe and also in Chief Simpson a different caliber of leadership, and I think in some of the nonprofits and the church and the people that work with the homeless, that in some of those instances there's also a caliber of leadership. So I think that we have an opportunity here that's different. The situation hasn't changed, but I think the leadership team and the resolve they have to solve a problem is different.
You know, it'd be nice if I could buy into that, but I watched that whole scenario unfold at City Council, and I noticed that the people sitting in the audience with scowls on their faces were people who make their living bringing the homeless problem to our attention. Now, I'm just going to tell you that I know of an organization that's having a birthday today. Which one is it? Okay, but I meant the birthday. No, it's longer ago than that. It doesn't cost anybody anything. And they have a pretty good batting average when it comes to getting people to turn their lives around.
Yep.
Good point.
The recidivism rate is because the people that sober up go back and take seriously they helped me, I need to be there for somebody else. It doesn't cost the feds anything. It doesn't cost the state anything. It doesn't cost the city anything. It's a volunteer effort. When I see that, rather than people making a living off of other people's horror stories, then I'll get in your line.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think part of the reality is, and you state it well, is that the fact is only a very small percentage of the people realize they have a problem and will put forth the effort.
Listen, you can't have a couple of kids and you're sleeping on the street and not realize you've got a problem.
Right.
You just are too lazy to do anything about it. We'd rather sit in our own stink than get up and move to a different spot to change our lives because, well, I don't know what's coming next. I know about this evil that and I can deal with it okay. If you can't be inspired to improve your life because you have absolutely hit rock bottom, and there are people that will go out of their way to explain to you the steps that they took to make their lives better. Not a perpetual handout, not perpetual, I'm going to take you by the hand and lead you down the road, and as soon as I get out of sight, you're going to go back to your old habits. It's Lago in the Morning. News Radio 1360, KKTX 834. Those of you who tried to get in before and get in on this wonderful discussion about the homeless, and we can't just do nothing. Yeah, we can. The laws of the jungle take over. It's like that guy, back in the early days said, you work or you don't eat.
We got to believe that there's people out there that just don't know the way.
Really?
And we got to show them the way. If anything, with that number 5 on Susan's list, the sobriety center, we need to do that.
Right.
I see,
but he can do the math financially to show you that it's actually
that's
less
the one.
expensive.
Well, if anything, it frees my guys up.
Well,
if anything,
who's going to work it?
Well,
volunteers.
So as we've been saying, this is not just a city of Corpus Christi issue.
I know that.
We've got to engage the county. We've got to engage social partners. We've got to engage the community. Well, they got to come. They got to come, and we're counting on them to come. And if we're going to be successful, we need them. Okay, I pay a pretty good tax dollar myself, and I have an expectation to live in a clean, vibrant city, and I'm doing my part to get us there. And as the police chief, I just can't say that I can't do a certain thing. I've got to try until I give out, and that's going to be my intentions.
But
and so with
you're going to have to man a sobriety center 24 hours a day. Yes?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And there's a city just north of us called San Antonio that has given us a magnificent example, and it started with that sobriety center, whereby in talking to McManus, the chief up there, that's how all of that Haven for Hope thing started. And if you hadn't gone up there, you should go. Because I think, they're not helping everybody, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that there are some slugs that just want to suck the life out of good people who want to feed them on a parking lot of City Hall. We get that. But there are also people that want to be reached, and if we can just show them the way, by some little effort, then I think it's worth it.
Jim, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Well, good morning, folks. Hey, I was just kind of wondering if we do come up with some new homeless shelters in the city, where might they be located?
We're not at that part
we don't,
yet.
First of all, we don't want more homeless shelters. We want to prevent homelessness. We want to rid our city of homelessness. And those people on the verge of becoming homeless, we want to make it so that doesn't happen. So, so by building homeless shelters and by feeding people and making them comfortable, it does the very thing that Jim is advocating against, makes them comfortable to be here and suck us dry of the things that we have to give.
Well, if we're going to relocate them from the leopard area, for example, or move them off from that area, what do we just move?
That's never going to happen.
Well, we do have a strategy of creating a location away from downtown and uptown where we can have a coordinated, centralized approach for all the service providers that are kind of scattered around the city, and especially in the downtown area right now, so that they can. So there's a little bit more coordination, that they're not duplicating efforts, and that we can get more out of the current dollars that they're expending, because they're not duplicating efforts and have this administrative overhead that each of those agencies have. If we can eliminate that, then more funds can go directly to providing those wraparound services like medical care and job training and dental care and the things that people need to get back on their feet.
I thought Obama was going to take care of all that. you know, if you don't have health care,
He's
you
working
can
on
get
it.
it. All you have to do is sign up for it.
He's working on it.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I'm just not sure about, we're talking about one thing then another. The Leopard Street corridor, the Staples by City Hall, that this is what is left of what you started with. Yeah. I can't imagine that. And I have always had a problem with arrest the hooker, arrest the hooker, arrest the hooker, arrest the hooker.
Yep.
If we did this like some cities and put those Johns on television and talk about what they've been doing and where they got caught and who it was they were trying to buy services off of, I think it would help eliminate. It would. Well, let's just say this. I believe that it would cut down on impulse shopping.
Yeah,
along.
Maybe, but those Johns, they're not guys that are. Going to the country club,
no.
Or they're not guys who have jobs who are contributing. Not those guys. They have vehicles. They're making payments. Everybody has a vehicle. I sell 80 of them every month that we confiscate and keep. But what I'm saying is that those guys who you're talking about that will plaster on the news, nobody cares.
You don't think?
No. Those guys, I mean, they don't matter. I mean, they're people who operate in that world. Okay, let's go. So they're impulse shoppers then. Yeah. Do you think it might go? Oh, I ain't going there. I think the highest caliber person you'll get is probably one of our very fine, refinery workers or something that has a weak moment, and but outside of that, I don't think that you're going to.
A little bit of humility, a little bit of embarrassment is good for everyone.
Sure, and we tried that before, posting them on our website
in Dallas
and here.
Oh,
yeah, and here, and it's still going on, and it's going strong.
Flo, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Hi, Jim. I wanted to pay the chief a compliment. I was on I-37 yesterday, which, as you know, has become the new Indianapolis 500 racetrack, and I had a blowout, and so I pulled over, and my husband came and got me, and we called a police officer, and he was the most wonderful, kind person I have ever met in my life. He was very helpful, and I did not get his name, but I'm going to track him down, and I am going to give him a gift.
You can't do that. You can't get him a gift. It's against.
Okay.
It's against
he won't take.
Well, anyway, he did go above and beyond the call of duty. He closed one lane down so that we could load our vehicle on a trailer. And I got out of the car to help, and he said, "Ma'am, I really need for you to get back in your car." He wouldn't let me help, and he stayed right with us. And you talk about a good Samaritan, and I know he gets paid to do some of that, but like I say, he went above and beyond, and I just wanted to compliment him. And I will find out his name, and I will write you a letter on that.
Very good. Thank you. If you write the letter and put the time and date and the location, we can track his name down.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Hey, did you see the guy that ran from the Rockport and Portland police and
ended up in your parking lot?
Well, he was seeking asylum.
Seeking asylum?
Well, yeah,
no,
so he's yelling.
He needs an asylum.
So he was yelling, "Hey, Floyd! Floyd!"
He has tried to see you before.
Yeah.
Has he? Has he not?
Yeah, he's tried to see you before.
And other people. I'm surprised he has a vehicle.
See, everybody's got a car. It's just like I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a nice car, too.
All right.
Little comic relief to lighten the mood on the homeless talk.
I liked it.
Okay.
I thought, wow. The Click It or Ticket campaign?
Yes.
Is that over?
Yeah, we ran it from May 19 to June 1. It was our memorial Click It or Ticket. Mm-hmm. And pretty good number of citations written. Unfortunately, people believe that I want to write tickets, and I tell you all the time, and you go, "Why do you do that?" I tweet out where we're going to be, saying we're going to be here writing tickets. I want you to change your behavior. I'd rather not write a single ticket and everybody drive the speed limit and do everything the right way. But I think we wrote somewhere around 500 tickets for Click It or Ticket. And the sad thing is it was some kids that weren't properly in their child seats and things like that. But, I mean, we'll do it again for July 4th. We'll do it again for Labor Day. It's coming. We're going to tell you where we are.
And the citations for, I had the general manager of Channel 6 in here, and he's talking about the different things they do. We've talked about the drunk drivers, and then they run around with that radar gun, and I'm thinking,
scares me to death.
Does it?
Yeah, because I don't want them to get hurt. I mean, it's a dangerous thing to run radar. Yeah. And we give our guys training to run radar. You just can't pick one up and go and do it. You'll get hurt.
And I thought, you know what? They ought to get that van out, the Channel 6 van, and just turn their cameras on people who are using their cell phones.
Yes. Yeah. And that too. And a lot of people, they call me and go, "We told you it's not going to work." I mean, murder is against the law. We still have murders. There was no way that I was going to say that because we enact this ordinance that it's going to stop. That's foolish. Yeah. We're writing tickets. We've written
as
about
fast as we can.
So yeah. I mean,
there's no quota on that. You can write as many as you want.
Yeah, I'm still trying to formulate my plan of 1-800 text or something, whereby if you see somebody texting, you send something to us, and I can send them a letter at least. Not saying it's you, but person driving your car in this area at this time was seen texting.
I want a jammer. I want one of those things that comes up with all those a barrel and circles around it, and you just fries the signal.
Yeah.
Mike, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Yes, good morning, Lago, and good morning, Chief Simpson.
Good morning,
I'd like to preface my point real quick by thanking you, sir. For all that you do for this community. I know your heart's in it, and I kudos out to you. Totally. But and I've mentioned this before to you gentlemen, and you probably thought it was a crazy thing. But I've been I've been around enough kids in my lifetime. I'm 60 years old now, and I can tell you that when they first get in trouble with alcohol, and the drug is different. I'm not really into that. But as far as the alcohol goes, if you really want to put a dent on this thing and you really want to help the people this way, with that first offense, and I don't know how it would happen, but it needs to happen, you put them on antabuse for a year. That first offense on that drinking, whether it's DWI or whether it's domestic abuse somewhere, because I've been around them enough. The first offense, 1 year on antabuse.
Antabuse.
The second offense is 5 years on antabuse.
Depending on the sensitivity of the person taking that, if you have wine vinegar,
right, yeah,
that will set it off. Alcohol in cologne will set it off.
Yeah, because I've been around
about that.
But see, here's the thing. That's why you want to do it. You want to force them. It's not really that you want them on it. You want to force them to deal with life issues sober. And the only way they're going to do it because of the peer pressure around wherever they're living, whether it's in the bad neighborhoods, the good neighborhoods, whatever it is. When it comes to alcohol, 90% of it, 99% of it is peer pressure. Mm. So what you do with it is you force these guys that get in trouble with it in the first place to get it to stay sober and deal with life issues sober. And if they can't deal, okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks. News Radio 1360, KKTX. Assistant City Manager Susan Thorpe, who's been here a little over a year, is in the box this morning. We're talking about the sobriety centers that have to be manned 24/7. If you're fooling with drunks, you're going to have somebody that knows something about drunks, which speaks to me of police. And if you're going to incarcerate someone, especially a drunk, you are going to need medical people. Medical people have a habit of wanting more than $10 an hour.
Okay, so the sobriety center doesn't mean we're going to get rid of CDC. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you still need a CDC because there are going to be people who are drunk, who are belligerent, who need to be confined. Then there are drunks who are just drunk, not violent, and don't have an additional charge, which is a misdemeanor B or better. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those are homeless people laying on the bench, blocking entrances to business and things like that. So the way that many cities start this, Austin, Dallas at the Bridge, San Antonio, Houston, the way they start this is that they have physician's assistants, mental health professionals, mm-hmm. drug addiction professionals, alcohol people, mm-hmm. and they have to absolutely, the people who are being arrested, as you've mentioned, have to have the desire to engage. We need to give them the opportunity to act on that. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is all about. From my perspective, the selfishness in me is it takes me 15 minutes to drop that person off. Whereby if I have the CDC, that's about an hour or an hour to 15 minutes. And a large percentage of the people that we arrest are based on complaints or somebody working down in the central business district, seeing people laying out in the street on benches, blocking businesses, defecating in public, doing all the things that we as a community don't want to occur, and then I've got to do something with them.
All right. There's a headline I found pretty interesting today, and it runs along the same lines. Mm-hmm. It's I'm waiting for this to load. Come on. Okay. Mayor's Fitness Council mm-hmm. latest healthy strategy fails mm-hmm. to draw much interest beyond those connected to council. Mm-hmm. The same thing could be said for litter and this thing that we're talking about now.
But not prostitutes.
Well, I'm not sure.
I've got 14 that we've put our hands on that goes in this Red Court program, and 9 are still there.
Well, let me talk about this homeless strategies because
you got a minute and a half.
Okay, we have received a lot of interest in the business community.
That's because you go out and strong arm people.
No, we've made a simple presentation, and we got in unsolicited calls from a lot of people who are interested in finding a solution because they see the problem is getting worse.
All right,
and
we have
better.
nonprofit after nonprofit after nonprofit have been chasing this problem for years.
I'm talking about the business community that sees it as a problem and wants to contribute to the solution.
Okay, we're going to have to do this again. I'm out of time. I appreciate
With your help,
presence.
Jim, we're going to win.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have yourself a Bluebell Country Day.